I really want to get the so-called unprecedented, grave and serious threat that the Japanese Prime Minister Abe sees. How unprecedented actually were these strikes?
So the latest missile test was definitely an escalation in terms of provocation by North Korea. This was the first time ever that we've seen North Korea launch a ballistic missile to overfly Japan. And so I think that definitely, especially for Japan, is a significant and extremely serious threat. I do think, though, we have to recognize that there is a bit of calibration that North Korea was probably doing here. They were quite blunt over the last month in stating that they might actually conduct a test near Guam. They didn't. So I think you have to assume that they were trying to calibrate what they did in a way that would ratchet up tensions, but at the same time not cross any red lines that would actually cause the United States to initiate any kind of conflict or action.
Yeah, this is sort of seen as almost political game playing that's going on by North Korea at the moment. And how, therefore, do we see the response likely to be, particularly from the United States, for example? What are the realistic options out there for them?
I don't actually think this changes the options the United States has all that much. I expect that what you're going to see is another push for further sanctions and tightening of sanctions coming through the United Nations. There are additional steps that they could take beyond the sanctions that were just implemented at the beginning of August. They could go after the North Korean textile industry. They could go after oil, North Korea's access to oil from China, which is something that hasn't been done yet and could potentially be significant. And I think the one that a lot of people would really like to push for is actually sanctions against entities, third-party entities and companies that are doing business with North Korea, to really try to eliminate their access to other financial systems.
What about also Japan's reaction to this? Because they have sort of felt that maybe it's the time they can start building up their own military force in respect to this.
I think it will amplify voices within Japan and strengthen Abe's position, which has been to push for a more sort of muscular Japanese foreign policy. So further push for perhaps increased defense spending. Certainly, I think more ballistic missile defense in Japan. There is an ongoing argument about whether Japan should seek out offensive strike capabilities, which it obviously is not able to do right now because of constitutional restraints. And I think that it will further expand that argument in the folks who believe that Japan ought to be able to do that.